And then right beside me here is Miss Ellison Gorby. She is my daughter. So we conned her to bring a couple of her friends on tonight to talk a little bit about the girls basketball program and what it means to them and maybe some of their favorite players and some different things. First, we're going to kind of start with Ellison here. Ellison, who's your favorite player on the high school girls basketball team and why?
Mine's Kylie Bruce because she's really energetic. She's very, very nice, kind. She's very good at basketball.
Okay. All right. Braylon, who's your favorite player and why?
Kylie Bruce because she's really good at basketball. She's really caring, and she helps out a lot at basketball camps.
Good. All right, Adele, who's your favorite girls basketball player and why?
Mine is also Kylie Bruce because she is very nice. She has a kind family, and she's really good.
What advice, if you had the opportunity to go in the locker room tonight, Adele, before the game, what advice would you give Kylie before this game?
Don't play soft.
Don't play soft. I think that's probably the same thing you're telling her tonight.
I appreciate that advice. I appreciate the advice, Adele.
Ellison, the question for you is, when did your interest in basketball start, and what made you interested in basketball? I think our first interest, I think we got a little graphic here that shows your first, back when you were 4 years old, your first real adventure in basketball. But what got your interest involved here at basketball?
Well, you took me to a lot of games. You're the coach of basketball. You made me start. You let me start. You let me try. You taught me a lot of things, and now I can do a lot of tricks in it.
That's good. All right, Adele, what do you kind of do in the off season to help improve not only your basketball game, but your softball game? What kind of routines, workouts do you do to help get better?
I go to Adam Lalonde for softball, Chris Lovely for basketball, and Brody Buchanan for basketball.
Definitely a good group. Gets a little love from Brody there. I guess she comes and sees Brody for some individual. Brody's been a great player for our program and very exciting to watch. They'll be in action tomorrow night at South Point. Another, juggernaut team kind of there tomorrow night. All right, now I'm going to put you on the spot, even though he's sitting beside me right now. I know you guys have watched a lot of girls basketball games here and on the road. What is your favorite Coach Buchanan quote or action during the ball game that he does? We're going to kind of start with Adele on this one. What's his favorite quote that you hear him say a lot?
Don't play soft.
Don't play soft. All right, Ellison, what do you hear him say a lot?
I don't know.
I think last night she was hollering, Bruce, grab the ball. I think's what she told me last night when we were talking about.
Yeah.
Braylon, what's your favorite moment, quote, Coach Buchanan?
Pound the rock.
What was it?
Pound the rock.
Pound the rock. Pound the rock. That's a good one. B, what are some of your goals for basketball this year? Improvement, getting better. What are some of those goals for you?
To continue growing as a player and to get better at my ball handling.
Good. Those are good. All good things to work on. All right. What is your favorite way to celebrate after a big victory? All right, Adele, what's your favorite way to celebrate after a big victory?
To go somewhere special with my team.
Somewhere special with your team? That's good. Braylon, what about you?
Getting sushi.
Getting sushi. Ellison, what's yours?
Going to my favorite restaurant.
Which is what?
Panera.
Panera. Go to Panera. Coach, you had the opportunity to watch these girls play, and you've been around them quite a bit over the last few years. What advice would you kind of give them as we're getting ready for big games like this tonight?
I mean, as far as them moving forward as players, there's no substitute for working. There's no substitute for being in the gym. There's no substitute for, spending a lot of time on your game. If you want to be a better shooter, you've got to shoot a lot. If you want to be a better ball handler, you've got to handle the ball a lot. You've got to put yourself in those situations and just continue to play a lot, and you'll end up where you want to be.
Big girls, I appreciate you coming up. We'll be an exciting ball game tonight. I hope you guys get to stick around. If you do, I'm sure Coach Buchanan would like to see you in the locker room for pregame and probably those halftime adjustments. So, again, girls, thank you so much for coming on. Just kind of unclip your mics and clip them on there, and I'm going to talk to Coach Buchanan a little bit. Coach, big ball game tonight. We talked a little bit about it yesterday on the coaches show. What is, as we're getting ready for today's game, what is the message to your team?
You know, I mean, just like always, you know, we want them to play as hard as what they possibly can. You know, I think the message is like, all we need is all you have. And if we can get all you have tonight, then that's all that's all we ever want. You know, so if we can get all you have tonight, then we'll feel good. We'll feel good about it.
You know, I know the backstory behind Pound the Rock. You know, it's something that's on all your. It's kind of it's your motto. It is your motto. It's not kind of. It is your motto. Where did that begin, and how is that your team bought into that over the years?
You know, it's just our way of saying that, like, you know, it comes from a stonecutter's creed that says, like, a stonecutter can pound on his masterpiece 99 times, and the 100th strike, it may break and may become the masterpiece that you want it to be, but that person knows that it's not the 99, it's not that 100th time that made it the masterpiece, it's the 99 that came before. And so it's just our team motto of, like, you know, we take every day, like, and come to work every day. You know, we prepare for Portsmouth just like we prepare for our next game on Saturday, and then so on and so forth. We don't try to make anything too big, and we don't try to make light of anything. You know, it's just it's a culminant of effort, and we want you to understand that, like, every little thing you put into what you're doing matters, and it's something that has resonated with our kids.
It has. You know, I've been able to sit and kind of watch this grow for the last 9 years, and it's funny. You bring some teams in here for shootouts, and when they walk in your locker room, you have the rock there.
Yeah.
And you know, and their first thing is, there's the rock. And I can't remember who it was a couple years ago. Williamsburg. So there are all the kids that are taking pictures of it.
Right.
And so it's
They're probably like, man, why does the team have a rock in the locker room? But yeah.
If you guys have seen Coach Buchanan carrying this ratty duct tape, athletic tape box around, that is actually the rock that he's carrying around.
That's its house. Yeah, that's how it travels.
That's right. Coach, you know, as we get ready for this ball game tonight, Amy Hughes has got her team prepared coming in. You know, whether it's going to be man, it's going to be zone, those sort of things. What is probably the last thing you're going to tell your girls, other than, hey, let's just go have fun and play the game like we normally do? What is one of the last words that you're probably going to tell your team?
I feel like, you know, we've got to take care of the basketball. That's always going to be the case. But again, tonight they got some quick, athletic kids, so we've got to take care of the basketball. It's going to be first and foremost. Like, be protective of the ball, and just compete really hard every defensive possession. You know, every time we play defense, we got to compete really hard and not give up open shots.
Yep. Hey, you know, I agree. We're looking for an exciting ball game. I know down there it was a very exciting ball game for the first half. Sienna gets hurt. Kind of the tides change a little bit. So I'm looking for 4 quarters of up and down basketball, full court press. Coach Cunningham and I were talking. There used to be, and I know you remember because we're about the same age, Coach Huckabee that was in town, coached at Marshall and at South Point later on. And his was the Hucks press, famous press. And so we were talking the other day, and it immediately popped in my mind, well, this has to be Buke's permanent press. So, you know, we look forward to seeing you guys play about 94 feet all night long and getting after it. Coach, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You know, we hope to see you in the winner's circle, as my dad says, after the ball game here tonight.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. We're going to be here in just a minute. We're going to get Coach Amy Hughes from Portsmouth up here. We're going to talk to her a little bit about the game. As we move forward, right before the game, we're going to honor Miss Bree Allen tonight. She's going to get her 500th rebound, but she's also on track to get 1,000 points, if not tonight, possibly down the road. As we put a graphic up here, you see the top 12 scorers in school history. You're starting with Julie Curry. Julie, up until last year, had the school record for the most points at 1,473. AP Porter had broke that recently. But as a girl's record, she holds that record. If you go down to about number 6 on that graphic, you're going to see a person that we're going to watch tonight, and Miss Tommy Hinkle. Miss Tommy Hinkle is having a phenomenal career here. She's committed to Tiffin University. She got several interests, but she told me she fell in love with the campus. She fell in love with the coach, and she's going to continue to be a Dragon for the next 4 years at Tiffin. Coach, I know you recognize some of those names on there, Miss Julie Curry, Anita Cook, some of those girls. I vaguely remember him playing, but I know you probably remember him playing.
I remember them playing. I also see Brenda Dillon on there. I don't know where she was. She at 10. I mean, I don't have my good glasses on here. I can't see it. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I remember watching a lot of these. Nita Cook was a year younger than me, I believe, and I remember watching her play. But a lot of those others have been here since I've been here.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a big thing. But I do remember Brenda, Julie Curry. I mean, I think didn't they play together?
A little bit. I think
didn't they overlap a little bit?
Anita was playing. I know Anita played with Brenda, I think maybe a year or so there. We had Emily Chapman graduate. She's at Wright State playing now. She originally went to Cedarville. I watched Emily go 10 for 11, I believe it was, at Chesapeake from the three-point line her senior year.
Yep.
So just a lot of names on there. You see Kim Bonham, probably one of the most athletic females I have ever seen. We watched her up in Chillicothe in the district game get a goaltending call because she jerked the ball off the rim. You know, it's amazing you see a girl to be able to get a hold of the net, and she's up, gets a goaltending call for that. Also, we saw Carrie Hinkle on there, who is coach of volleyball for us, is an outstanding player. Her daughter, Bailey, graduated a couple years ago. So just some outstanding names. Bree's going to join that list. Whether it's tonight or it's Saturday, she's going to join it soon. So, you know, some exciting things. Coach, let's talk a little bit about, I know you had the opportunity to coach some of these against a couple of these girls a couple years ago in junior high. What's the talent level at Portsmouth has really come to the forefront? What's those kids like?
Well, I'll tell you, Coach, I think Amy Hughes has done a lot down there, the coach. Done a whole lot with these girls. I split with them with Cam and Issa's group. We both lost one game to each other, but then I won the tournament that year. But there's a good group of girls there, and then the girls that came after were also a good group, and they got a couple really good freshmen playing that I didn't see last year, but they're good.
They are good. You know, we talked about Coach Buchanan and I talked yesterday on the coaches show about a couple of kids. Deja Reed, who's a sophomore, she's a shooter, very athletic. As a freshman, she has 30 in an all-star game. Now, again, it's OVC all-star game, and we're just out here having fun. There's not a lot of defense. But still, to be able to play and get 30 points in an all-star game when you're not getting to play a lot because you're rotating in.
Right.
So that proves that she can shoot the ball. Also, Coach Hughes' niece, Sienna Allen, very athletic, very long. She's got some D1 offers. She can play. I mean, she can flat out play. She got hurt down there last time we played them after about the first quarter, but still, she handles the ball well. She gets her team in the offense.
Well, I was going to tell you about the Reed girl. She's the one that beat us the only time that we lost a game that year, and it was first game down there, and Cam, our point guard, was sick. Issa didn't play all. She played 2 quarters, and but she got hot. Now, we switched our defense and came up here. I think she scored 2 points, and we ended up beating them pretty handily, I think. But she can light it up. So we're going to watch her. And the others I haven't really got to see. Haven't really got to see anybody play. I mean, I know we are just absolutely up and down the court, just pressing, a lot of different jump presses, looks like to me, what he's doing, trapping in different spots, playing the passing lanes, really doing a good job.
Yeah, and I agree. You know, and we talk a lot about Portsmouth, but also, I mean, as we look at our girls and what has kind of transpired, you know, Coach is 8 deep, and it doesn't really fall off, whether it's number 8, the 8th sub, or the 3rd sub, which would be the 8th player, all the way up to the number 1 starter. It doesn't really fall off.
That's right.
When you start looking at things here in numbers, Bree's averaging 12.4 a game. Tommy's averaging 12 points a game. Bailey Russell's coming off the bench averaging 12.9. Cam's averaging 8.6. Bruce is 6.9. You know, those are good numbers, and they're playing all about equal minutes. So,
right.
You know, that's kind of different for most high school teams because you see a lot of times 4 girls that don't come off the floor in most high school games.
That's right.
These girls are all playing equal minutes of about a half the game. So, let's talk about a little bit about our group. And we've got, like we said, Tommy going to Tiffin. She's kind of been the leader. She's been the point guard for 4 years. And I was talking to Miss Leaf a little bit today about Tommy's game this year has elevated. She's having fun. She's enjoying herself. She's going out and playing. But she doesn't have all the pressure to go score. You know, she was Conference Player of the Year last year. She's coming back, going to Tiffin. What's it like to watch Tommy and grow up here?
Well, Tommy has I mean, I think probably the last 2 years she's felt like she had to score more and take, you know, the kind of that burden.
Right.
And I think this year she knows with the people that surround her, she doesn't have to do that. So she can dish, she can concentrate on different things. You know, the biggest thing for her is her getting the ball off the floor for us.
Right.
You know, so I think that there's a lot of pressure that's been taken off her. So, you know, she needs to enjoy this year. She doesn't, all that's not on her shoulders now.
And I agree, and I think that's why she kind of committed a little bit early to Tiffin before her senior year. That way she could just kind of sit back and relax and just go have fun. She is a true leader of this group. I see her interacting with the kid, with her teammates and different things, talking to them on the floor or on the bench. Sometimes you get to go in the locker room on the road, and she's always communicating with those girls. And then kind of Reese, our other senior, Reese is going to Wright State to run cross country. And let's face it, it takes a heck of an athlete to run D1 collegiate cross country.
Absolutely.
Reese can be streaky. She can get hot from the corner. She's also been a good defender. So, you know, Reese has been a great addition to this team.
The thing I've noticed when I watched Reese play over the years, you know, she's been here the last couple of years, is I really like the way she plays defense. You know, she sticks her nose in there. She's not afraid to get up and take somebody on. Doesn't matter. And for that matter, her sister Cam, same way.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You know, I told you when the Reed girl played, Cam played her back years ago and shut her down. She only had 2 points.
Right.
So both of those girls can play good defense.
Yeah. And then we kind of get into our junior class with Bree Allen. We've talked a lot about her accolades. Going to get her 500th rebound ball tonight. She got that against Colgrove. Coming up on 1,000 points. And then Kylie Bruce, great defender, quick hands, long, sprints the floor, gets up and down the floor. I can't say enough about those two girls and their work ethic. They're always working on their game, whether it's in the gym, it's the weight room, it's travel basketball. They're in not so lack of terms, they're 8 up with the game of basketball.
Right.
So they're always improving. You know, I know you had the opportunity to coach them a little bit at the middle school level. Talk about that improvement level from 8th grade to now.
Well, I mean, they were good then,
Right.
definitely. But to see how they've become more molded into a complete player, you know, one of the worst things for me is Coach McClung and I were up at, I can't remember where we were at now, up around Chillicothe, up there for a ball game, and Bree goes down and we're up big points, and we lose her the rest of the year for her ACL.
Right.
That was one of the hardest things for me, you know, but if you look at how she's come back and fought back and what she's done here, points-wise, rebounds-wise, unbelievable for sophomore, you know, or junior. And Kylie Bruce, I mean, I remember her. She was just that. She never wanted to shoot. You know, she was always looking to pass. Now she's matured. She looks to take the shot. She'll still look to make the good pass, but Kylie's always looking ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, and her game has improved drastically too. I mean, just you know how kids change from middle school to high school. And I'll be honest with you, I know them playing travel ball means a lot, but Coach Buchanan's had a lot to do with that also, and his staff.
I agree. I agree. You know, and you kind of mentioned there about Kylie kind of finding her shot. One of the things that we've talked about, JR and I've talked about, is her ability to step out and shoot the three.
Yes.
You're not going to see a lot. I mean, Bree's a great three-point shooter also. You're not going to see a lot of 6-foot girls in Southern Ohio be able to step out and shoot a three-point shot. And they do it consistently, and that makes it tough for somebody to match up defensively with them.
Well, here's the thing. If you look at our team, we have 8 girls that can sit outside and shoot a three-point shot.
Yes.
We do.
Right.
I mean, we really do. So how do you guard that? And you know, if you're an opposing team, how do you say this? Oh, do we play 4 guards? Do we play 3 guards? What does Fairland play? Well, you got 8 kids that can play any spot, and Coach Buchanan, you know, moves them around. You got to know those spots.
Yeah, and I agree. And that makes it hard because, let's be honest, you're always, as a high school coach, you're going to have one kid that you're trying to hide defensively somewhere. John's not having that problem right now because, you know, all 5 of our kids can play the game. They can dribble. They can shoot. They can play great defense. So who as an opposing coach, whether you're Rock Hill, you're Colgrove, you're Southport, that one kid that you need to hide, who are you matching them up with?
That's the problem. As a coach, you can't do that.
Right.
Okay, I mean, you can't do that. I mean, that team is so well balanced right now and equal talent around. I mean, who do you guard? I mean, if they have a really good player, you can play a box and one, a diamond and one, or a triangle and two. With these guys, you can't do that.
Right.
You double team somebody else is going to be open. They're going to find them.
I agree. You know, JR, you've been able to watch several of these games, and we talked quite a bit about it. Kind of what's your take on the basketball program in general right now?
Well, obviously, you know, I've followed it. I've been out of town, not living around here for the last, 12 years, but I still follow it and hear updates from like you and Coach Buchanan along the years. But the last 2 seasons of being able to like really follow it, I think the biggest thing is consistency. You know, he's just built. It's a testament truly, completely to Coach Buchanan and the people that he's kind of put around him. Like when you have that buddy league program, all teaching exactly what he wants.
Right.
It just builds every year. Like these kids are going to learn at a young age the system and just perfect it. So by the time they get to John, he doesn't really have to teach them the system. Right. He can really start fine tuning things. And it shows. You have 3 freshmen stepping in this year. And I would say from game 1, they kind of like, there was no learning curve.
Right.
They were already like just seamlessly came in and started doing things exactly how last year's group was doing things. And that's a huge advantage as a high school coach if you have that buy-in at a younger age and at the younger groups, middle school and even earlier. You get that consistency. Obviously, I would say, the Southern Ohio area for the last how many years, John is.
Well, I'll tell you,
at the top.
I know for middle school, you run the same offense. You're playing the same base defense.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
You run the same out-of-bounds plays. So when they step on the court here, they know that it's a matter of just getting better with your game.
Right. Yep.
And playing as a team.
And then you start adding in, like we said, like obviously the 8th grade group coming up was obviously successful in middle school. And then you throw them in there with 5 girls who went to the regional final last year. And so you're putting them in there with players who are just as good or maybe even a little bit better right now because they're older, a little stronger, a little more mature. Like it just brings consistency to the program. And I mean, you may see a slight dip from year to year, but nothing that is like a huge dip. He's not seen a huge drop off from year to year.
Right. And I don't think being involved, having 2 daughters who are playing down in the basketball academy, you don't see a lot of drop off there either. And it's awesome to sit and watch, especially from my point of view, as being the athletic director and seeing these little kids, seeing our little teams going to all-star tournaments and playing, a zone defense and doing the things that he does and running some of the offensive stuff. And being consistent and winning games, because you know that's building as we go. See Coach Hughes coming up the steps here. We're going to get her in there right there beside you, JR. We'll talk to her a little bit about today. Right there beside JR.
Hopefully you can hear.
You want to. We'll talk loud for you. Coach, again, we appreciate you coming up. I know get the opportunity to get you kind of away from the junior high team there. Coming in tonight, you guys have drastically improved your program over the last 2 or 3 years. It says a lot for you. I know your coaching pedigree from your dad down. You've got regional final wins. You've got conference wins. Talk to us a little bit about building that program at Portsmouth the last few years.
Thank you for the compliment. We'll start with that. Yes, I think the family has built this. It's been a family affair, so it's been nice. I can't take much credit for it, but everything we learned from our dad, and so we're just passing on stuff that he's taught us, and he's still teaching. You can see the building it from the ground up. I would agree with that. That is definitely something that we took pride in. Started at the Pee Wee, as you all do.
Yeah.
So you've done it for 20 years. You guys do a wonderful job with your programs, and we started with the Pee Wee to build the whole thing, and we are pretty happy with the direction it's going and the building that's happening. So yes.
I agree. And like I said, you and I have had some conversations after games, and I kept telling you, hang in there, it's coming.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of reaping those rewards for your hard work, and congratulations on that. We've been in some battles, And I asked Coach Buchanan, I said, what's probably one of the last things, not necessarily X's and O's, what's one of the last things you're going to tell your girls as they come out of the locker room tonight?
We like to tell them to have fun.
Right.
The game is fun. The game has brought a lot of accolades to our girls. It brought a lot of confidence. I mean, it affects their behavior at school. It affects their grades. I just told John before we were down there talking, we get all A's and B's.
Right.
I mean, that's, I have 16 kids. We don't accept C's, D's, or F's. We don't accept any behavior. It's affected everything that they've done, I think, and that's what we're really proud of. The game has brought a lot of excitement and a lot of fun to their lives. I would like to think it's brought a lot of mine. I'm 45 years old, and it's done nothing but bring a lot of fun and excitement to my life. So what I'll tell them right before they come on the court is have fun.
Yeah.
So.
And that's great advice, and that's kind of what Coach said. One of our main things, we're just telling them, let's just go have fun. Coach, I appreciate you coming up here. Good luck to you tonight. You need anything from us, let us know. Again, we thank you coming on. Is there anything you want to add about tonight's game, your program, before we let you go?
No, this was good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yes,
We appreciate
absolutely,
it.
yeah.
Thank you. Good luck to you tonight, Coach.
Good luck, Coach.
Practice those answers all day.
As we kind of get back to what we were talking about in building programs, and like Coach Hughes said, it starts at the Pee Wee level or the Little League level, whatever you want to call it. Jared, I know you were a part of a program at Chesapeake that was kind of the same way with Norm and with Coach Pearson and building that program, and you kind of see those things. And Coach Buchanan has his hands in that program, and it's amazing to me, and I know you guys have seen it. Any girl that walks in, there's 100+ kids in that program. It doesn't matter. When they walk in the door tonight, he's going to acknowledge them by their name. He's going to call them by their first and last name and thank them for coming. He opens up the locker room pregame. It doesn't matter who we're playing. Come in. Last year we're in the district finals at Waverly, and as after the game, and I go in the locker room, and there's 7, 8 little girls just running around in the locker room. Not family with anybody, but they're part of his basketball academy, and they're in there celebrating. Coach is celebrating with them. That means a lot. And I know you guys get that outside view. What's that outside view looking in to see that stuff going on here?
Well, I've been on the inside too. Refereeing up and watching, the expectations he has for those kids plus the coaches, and him letting those kids come into that locker room, those little kids, that does a lot. That I remember I'd always wanted to go get one day in Tony's locker room when I was a kid down at Chesapeake, but I didn't get that opportunity. But what I'm saying, that's great for them, and that keeps that interest going. And that's why he's building this. He's got that interest. He, like I said, I've said it before, he works year round.
He does.
And to a credit to him as well, obviously he's completely bought in, but his girls at the high school level have bought in as well. Like my daughter Cameron was a part of the academy there for a while, and every time, even on Saturdays, she'd be at soccer. I know Bree Allen would see her and say, "Hey, Cameron," talk to her, say something to her. Anytime they see them outside of the gym as well, those kids have bought in, and it makes a huge difference for 5, 6-year-old kid.
Oh yeah.
Someone that they're looking up to. And we've all been there. I remember being in middle school looking up to those high school kids, and they say it's something, and it's huge to you at that age.
Right.
I can't imagine a 5 and 6-year-old.
Yeah. And that's something we talk about here is the little eyes are always on you, and we try to stress that to our girls. And I can't stress enough of how proud I am of this group. My daughter Ellison's been around them. Yardley's been around them the last 5, 6 years. We went to D.C. with them a few years ago with Emily Chapman and Allie Marshall and Kelsey Warnock, Alicia Simpson, and that group. And the whole time we were in D.C., my girls are in and out of their rooms. They're with them when we're taking tours of the Congress, of the Smithsonian's and everything. And they never blinked an eye. It was basically like, hey, just another little sister, let's go. So, Jonathan's instilled that into his girls. And just like Amy said, the grades, every one of our kids are academic all OVC because they're getting 3.5s, 3.6s.
I've got a majority, these basketball players in class. They're all good students.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing about it. They're all good students.
Oh, I agree.
Every one of them.
So, I mean, you know, and as we look at that, there's no behavior problems.
Nope.
You know, they're all very polite. They help each other out in school. And after the games, you know, good teams have fun and they get along.
Yeah.
After the games, we see them. It doesn't matter who has 18 points. They're celebrating for their teammates. If somebody hitting a big shot late in the game, they're celebrating. You know, talk a little bit about that and what it's like to get your teammates behind you.
Well, like I mentioned, I know I've talked to you about it earlier on this year. There was a game against Rock Hill here. It was obviously a close game late in the third quarter. I think it was right at the break going into the fourth quarter. Addison Godby was struggling a little bit. Coach had just been giving her some a pep talk, we'll say. As, you know, she was coming to the bench, and Kylie Bruce kind of pulled her aside and like got in her face and was like motivating her, saying, "Hey, we need you." You could just see that leadership from somebody that's been in those shoes before, and they're just there for each other.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
and it's something when you know, no matter what you're going through, how you're playing, that your teammate has your back and is ready to support you. It makes you play free. And
it's just not here. We see it at school.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I work the lunch duty every day, so I see if all the basketball players are on first lunch, they're usually sitting together. You know, they got 3 or 4 other friends in there with them. All of them that are on second lunch, they're sitting together and they're talking about different things. They're doing things on the weekends together. So, you know, it becomes your family for, you know, most of the time it becomes your family for 3 or 4 months. You know, you and I coach together. Dave, you and I coach together. And we saw each other more than my wife and I saw each other because, you know, we're doing so much together. So it does become your family. Coach, I'm going to ask you, what's your thoughts before we get Brooke in to talk a little bit about Addison and accomplishments she's got? What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
well, like I know you said earlier, like Kylie was probably averaging like 6 points. Tonight, I think that she probably has somewhere around 15 points because I think there is a mismatch in the lineup. She's going to be running that floor hard today.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like in that game up at Portsmouth, she probably had, it felt like 15 breakaway layups, just getting down the floor. We're looking up, we're getting the ball to her. She gets a wide open layup.
Well, let me ask you this. What kind of changes do you think Coach Hughes will make as opposed to the last time we played him down there?
So I really don't,
or is there something she can do that's going to counteract what
she's
we
definitely,
do?
Miss Portsmouth's going to have to definitely look to slow this game down tonight. That game got at a high speed, fast-paced game. Obviously, Fairland's a little bit more depth. Their post player, I feel like, is going to struggle in a fast-paced game. They've got to find a way to slow it down. Now, I do know the number 1 for Portsmouth. I'm sorry, I don't know her name. I know it's Amy's niece. I know she got hurt late in the first half. I think there was probably like less than a minute to go in the first half when she got hurt. But the game had already started building up to like a 15 to 20 point lead. She, I felt, was a little non-existent in the first half. She has to be a key contributor in slowing that game down. I think we took her out of that game.
But can they slow it down with us pressing?
I want to say,
because if we're not,
as a Fairland fan, I don't think it'll happen, and I hope it doesn't get to a slow-paced game. I think even in a slow-paced game, we have the advantage, but it's definitely not the style of play that we want to play. And against them tonight, I think if we get it into a fast-paced game, you're going to see it balloon up to 20 to 30-point game again. Just because our girls we have a lot of depth and conditioning.
We're joined by Brooke DeMoya. This is Addison Godby's mom. Addison recently got an honor to go play in Germany, I believe it is. Yes. So we wanted to kind of ask you, explain to us kind of what's going on there in that situation.
Okay, so Addison was recently selected to play with PhD Hoops, and they'll be going to the United World Games, which I didn't know what that was until they contacted us, but it is actually the largest youth competition in Europe. And so the way it works is she'll be playing with a team of other girls from across the United States, and they will go represent the United States and play other countries from around the world. So it's set up as like an Olympic style. So they'll be playing for gold, silver, bronze, hopefully gold.
Hopefully gold, yeah.
Hopefully gold.
Yes, hopefully gold.
Yes, but they also do other sports there. But she'll be playing on the 19U women's team. So
and I know you guys are kind of currently raising funds. I know you're doing Split the Pot tonight. Do you have any other fundraisers that Dragon Nation could get behind and help out?
Yeah, so right now we're doing donations. So if anybody would like to contact me, they can get a hold of me on Facebook. She's also thinking about hosting a youth basketball camp. So that's kind of in the works, just to kind of give back to the community, maybe bring some of her teammates in. And but we don't have all the logistics of that set up yet.
Right.
But yeah, just keep an ear open because we'll be doing some things probably all the way until summer.
Okay. Now, when is this kind of competition going to take place?
So the games are June 17th through the 23rd. They'll be in Austria. So they travel to Germany first, and then they go to Austria for the games, and then they will go to Venice to close out the tour.
That's exciting. I saw it there and really didn't understand it. I had the opportunity to kind of talk to you. That's exciting for her. I would assume probably the first one we've ever had here.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine ever having one or heard of any. I know Luke played something a couple years ago, but I don't think it was quite to this extent yet.
Yeah.
So that's exciting for her. All right, so let's kind of shift gears a little bit here, and we'll put you on the spot. Fairland alum, have the opportunity to come back in, watch your daughter excel here, be an outstanding basketball player. How does that make you feel?
I think it's really amazing. I feel like when I played, we had a very solid team. All 4 years I was here, we were very competitive. But I feel like this group of girls, they're really special. They're very deep. They have a deep bench. And, they all are all around good players. But they have their own strengths, too. So then when you put them together, they're really fun to watch.
They are extremely fun to watch.
Yeah.
So let's ask this difficult question. One-on-one in the driveway between you and Addison. Who's winning?
Well, about 3 years ago, I would say I was going to win. I don't know if I can say that right now. Maybe if we were playing like course or something, we could have like a 50-50 chance. I don't know. I think she might have me now.
All right.
Don't tell her I said that.
Oh, yeah, we'll delete that from the film.
Yeah.
Again, Brooke, we appreciate you coming on. Good luck to you tonight with this game and being a mom, and hopefully everything works out and we get a lot of donations and everything, and Addison has a great time with it.
I appreciate it.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just unhook your mic here before we take off. All right, Coach, we're going to come back to you. We heard JR's take on tonight's game. What's your take on tonight's game?
I think Portsmouth is very much improved and athletic, but I think we're more athletic. I just do. I mean, I think the 8, and that's why I asked JR what he thought about, he talked about slowing the game down. Well, if you're pressing and forcing the tempo, and that's to your advantage, it's just hard to do that. I know when I coached, they didn't want to get in a tempo game. Right. They wanted to make it a half-court game, and middle school is different than high school. You don't have the same kids, and that really wasn't something I could do. Then we ended up playing their game, but we ended up beating them at their game. Yeah. So,
I agree. Kind of feeding off what JR said, we didn't have the opportunity to watch number one, the Allen girl, for 4 quarters to see how that game was going to kind of unfold. I think she plays 4 quarters tonight. I think it's a completely different ballgame. Now, do I think that Coach Buchanan is going to be able to get out and speed the tempo up? Yes. But, again, I think this is the Dragons' ballgame. We got a little bit more experience on them. I think we're a little bit more athletic than what they are. So, I'm going to kind of leave you guys with this. Tomorrow night, the boys will be at South Point. We need a huge crowd, a huge atmosphere for this game tomorrow night at South Point. The girls will be at Eastern Brown for a 3:40 tip on Saturday against Cincinnati Country Day. Cincinnati Country Day is ranked in the top 10 in Division III. Talking to Coach Buchanan yesterday, he said probably the best team that he's faced all year. So we need a big crowd down at Eastern, and then the boys are going to play here at 7:30. Varsity tip-offs at 7:30, JV at 6 against Eastern Brown boys on Friday night. So, Dragon Nation, we appreciate you turning in. We're going to take a short break here. We're going to kind of change the tides here a little bit. We'll get Coach Carroll and Coach Harris on the call of the game. We've added some things to it.
Now, you need to talk about all the changes that you've made this week and how hard you and Mr. Bell have worked at this.
We've kind of worked a little bit at it this week. We've added some graphics. We hope to be able to get this stuff in and see. We hope you like the broadcast and what we're going to bring to it. Again, we'll see you back here in about 20 minutes or so for the call of the Portsmouth varsity girls game versus Fairland. Dragon Nation, thank you and good night.